You're welcome, our viewer. It's a good evening. The Lord has been faithful to me, and I believe to you. My name is Reverend Ruth Wamoyo, and as always, excited to be your gorgeous woman host, and bringing a lot of information, inspiration, empowering for women. It's all about women and girls, because we are the backbone of the society. And when we are sick and when we are beaten, we are not able to rise up to the occasion. But the purpose of this show is to make sure that God encourages you and builds you. And we always find our time to get you good guests that will be a blessing to you. And as always, today I'm privileged to have a gorgeous woman who has a story of battling with mental illness and battling with witchcraft. But she did not know that all these were intertwined. So don't touch that dial as we hear from Priscilla Patrick. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Good to have you, beautiful, gorgeous woman.
Wow, I'm so much humbled.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us, you come from Kirinyaga County.
Yes.
That you have told me off the set. And
yeah.
Kindly tell us how your family is like. How many are you? What born are you?
Okay. Like you have said, my name is Priscilla Patrick.
Yes.
And I'm born again.
Amen.
Woman.
That is very critical.
Oh yes, yeah. And I know who I am.
Amen.
I'm an eternal excellence and a joy to many generations.
Glory to God.
I've grown in Kirinyaga County, precisely Mwea.
Where?
Yes.
Where they grow rice.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I know the best rice.
You do?
I do.
I hear they mix it.
Yes, if you don't know, they will mix it for you.
How can I know if it's mixed?
The smell is not as very,
strong.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, so I'm the second born of my father and my mother, who both of them are alive.
Amen.
For almost 20 years, I was the only girl.
20 years?
Yes, before my last born sister was born. After high school.
Years.
Yes.
What a testimony.
So we have a last born who is a sister, but I have three brothers. Yeah. One is late,
yes.
But I'm the second born. But to my father now, I'm a son to him.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just growing in a very solid foundation of Christian values family from the youngest age. Actually, according to my father, I was called from the womb.
Wow.
Yes. So growing up, it was the easiest way for us as a family, being godly, led by our father, who has been a pastor for some years before he retired. So actually, we have a church right in our home. My dad.
It is quite a good testimony to hear that a pastor's kid can have a good memory of how they were raised.
Yes. So it was just, I think, for me, being the only daughter by then,
yes.
It was a walk
you
in
really
the park. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was daddy's girl.
Oh, wow.
And I usually say, like Joseph of the Bible,
yes.
I am that modern Joseph.
Amen.
I was the loved of my father. Like my brothers were always on me because my father was,
he would spoil you.
Yes. Yeah. So I grew up very well. I went to Sunday school. I joined primary school. I went to high school. Life was good.
Yes.
I cannot say there was a time we lacked.
How was your relationship with your brothers?
My brothers, of course, like I said, the way Joseph was hated by his brothers, mine was a bit lenient, but of course they were not for me, because I would really tell it on them to my father. But it really taught me to be very aggressive in life.
And to be confident.
Yes. Wow. I grew up to be a very strong girl. In primary school, I was the head girl, this strong girl. Wow. In high school, I was one of the prefects. So the leadership skills and all that started growing at a very young age because of the environment with boys, Yes.
I also believe the love of your father gave you a lot of affirmation and confidence.
Yes.
I can see how you're glowing with excitement when you talk about it.
Yes,
because that's what our Heavenly Father does to us.
Yes.
He brightens our lives and gives us confidence.
Sure.
Great. Wow, what a wonderful beginning. Don't touch that dial. Priscilla Patrick, a married woman, a blessed woman of God. you're gonna hear her story, and it is going to keep your mind off every trial and know that God is a God of victory.
Oh, yes.
See you after the break. So our viewer, you're most welcome. My guest is Priscilla Patrick. I don't want to take much time because her story is full of victories and testimonies. It's witchcraft that, you know, like she's saying, she's a Joseph of the family. Her story about going through mental illness, witchcraft and all that, though a pastor's kid. But we will hear the story from her. So welcome again.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us, so your brothers, how mean were they to you, or how differently did you feel when you grew up with them?
Being the second born,
Yeah.
at least I had some power over my young ones.
Yes.
But now our firstborn brother is very quiet.
Yeah.
So I didn't have issues with him. But with my two brothers who followed me,
Yeah.
it was crazy in the house from everything, as in the cause in the house, who will do what. Like now, my parents taught us to do everything. Everybody would cook, everybody would wash utensils.
Yeah.
We used to do work as in like non-gender.
Yeah.
Like you're a girl, you're a boy.
you can
No,
do anything.
I would even go grazing.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Oh yes, actually I usually tell people that for me growing up, if you would find me, you would only find me in 3 places. If I'm not in the church, because the church actually is right in our
in
compound,
yeah.
I'm in school, or I'm grazing my father's cattle.
Wow.
In the bush.
In the bush.
Yes,
How
in the village. You know, I'm a village girl.
Oh, yeah.
But people don't
No,
believe
the village
it.
is not, you know, it's one thing to come from the village.
Yes.
It's another thing to be a villager.
I've grown all my life in the village actually. So all these things concerning the village life, I know. I've done the shamba work, all that I've done.
So at what point did you get to have a personal relationship with Jesus? Because there's always a temptation, because you're a pastor's kid, you are born again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, I agree with the Christian values, but I would say in high school, that's where I discovered myself very well. I had grown in the word, informed too.
Informed too.
Informed
Wow,
too.
how beautiful.
Yes. Informed too. I confessed with my mouth
that Jesus is Lord.
Yes, when the altar call was called in one of the weekend challenge.
Yeah.
And from there now I became very committed into Christian Union services, activities.
Yes.
I joined the choir. So it was really helping me now to grow and to discover who I am. Yeah. What is this that God has put in me since I was a baby, but yet nobody would have told me. Yeah. Like I usually say, life is full of puzzles. You need somebody to give you a password. Yeah. But for us who are in Christ Jesus, we have a password, and the password is the word of God. Amen. So I grew in the word from high school. I went to Karoti Girls, and our school was really known in the whole of Kirinyaga. Yeah. It was, I mean, full of girls who knows God. It was a God-fearing school. So it helped me to grow a lot in God. I never involved myself into those teenage activities, bad peer pressures, no, because my foundation was very well put through the Christian Union department.
So after you finished high school, did you pursue a career or?
Now, those days, it was when now computer packages were coming up, you know, and everybody was finishing high school and they want to do computer and all that. Yeah. So actually when I finished high school, immediately after a year, I happened to go out of our home and I went to Nakuru. Now, when I went to Nakuru, I was going to Nakuru for greener pastures, or even just to relax my mind as I wait for the exam.
Yeah, the results to
yes,
be
the
released.
results to be released.
Yeah.
Those days they used to release results on newspapers.
Yes.
You could read.
And it used to take some time. I think
Yes.
around maybe March or
yes,
January. Yeah, it used to be
around there, February,
March. Yeah.
Yes. So I left home. Actually, my brother took me to Nairobi, to Nakuru, to my aunt's place,
Okay.
sister to my mother, who used to work and live in Nakuru. But I remember when I was leaving, my father's heart was really disturbed. Actually, my dad never wanted me to leave home. But because I was determined, I knew I'm not a local girl. Something was telling me. Even in high school, I was not involving myself with local, Kirinyaga, Mwea people.
You are a dreamer even at that time.
I wanted to involve myself with, Nairobi girls.
Yeah.
People from Mombasa, Tanzania.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I was really an international girl, but I didn't know how.
Yeah.
Will that happen?
Yes.
So when I came, I had to convince my father to release me, and I went to Nakuru to stay with my auntie as I'm waiting for the exams, the results to come out. And when I was there, my aunt has 3 kids, and one of the firstborn is a daughter who is the age of my firstborn brother. So she worked in a hotel in town in Nakuru, and then one day she comes home and she say, "Now Priscilla, you're staying home doing nothing. This is town. You need to do something for yourself as you wait for
the exam results."
Yes.
Yeah.
So she comes one day and she says, "Now we have gotten a job for you in a restaurant, and you're going to report tomorrow." For me to report the following day, it was a club. They had a restaurant and a club, together now.
Yeah.
So I said, I've never seen this all my life. I've never worked in a club. Where will I even start?
Yeah.
My heart was disturbed. I think the spirit in me was refusing this kind of job. So I only worked there once. Well, that one day, I went home that evening and I told my aunt, I'm not going to work here. I'm not going to do that job again. I would rather stay like that without working or go back home. So now the problem started there. I've refused to work. I'm in town. They're feeding me. I'm sleeping in their house. There's no money. I'm giving back to the family. all those things. So my aunt was...
Your auntie was a sister to your mother?
Yes, the firstborn of my sister. The firstborn of my mother. They are firstborn. So she's actually the sister to my mother. The
very first.
Yes.
Okay.
So I said, now what will I do? I decided to join a church by then of one man of God in Nakuru, but I never knew very well. I just wanted somewhere I can belong to.
Yeah.
When I'm not doing anything in the house, I can go there and even serve or just do anything to
because
keep myself
you
busy.
grew up in church.
Yes. So I joined this church and I became very busy in church. I was given all sorts of jobs to help in the church, wash and do that, all that. So one day I came from the church in the evening. It was a fellowship Wednesday. When I came to the house, my aunt was very angry with me. And he said, now you refuse to work. Now you're coming home late. It was around 7. Because I'm walking from church to the house. I don't have fare.
Yeah.
So I had to walk. So I reached home around 7. And then she said, now it's like you've come to Nakuru to do prostitution.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I told you I've been from pit to Potiphar's house.
Yeah.
Here, it was Potiphar's house come pit for me. She accused me of sleeping out. I was not in church. I was sleeping out with men. I was doing all that. Now she started writing messages to my uncles, aunts, my mother, my parents. I said, but why am I going through this? Yet I am so innocent. I'm coming from church. I don't know of any man. I've never involved myself with men. I don't know. All I know is my brothers as men.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else.
Yeah.
I was so angry from my spirit. So my aunt said, now we are going to take you back out of this house, you go back to your parents' house. I pleaded with her not to, because I felt that I still needed to be in town for one reason or another.
Or did you do the computer packages?
Yeah, no, that one will came later.
Okay.
But after a lot of issues, now it continued now happening issues. Immediately after like 1 week, the exams came out, the results. And she sent me to buy something at the shop, and I got a newsletter someone was reading. The exam is out, you know, the excitement. And I said, let me check my name, or maybe I'm somewhere here.
Yeah.
To my surprise, my name was among, I had chosen to do law in School of Law, Nairobi.
Yeah.
My name, I saw my name and my ADM, my admission number.
Wow.
I said, wow, I've been called to do law. I came with joy to my aunt, you know. Hey, now that was the starting, the problem now started right there. Envy, jealous, clogged in her spirit. She was so agitated, like, why her?
Wow.
Because her children had gone out of school. The daughter is doing, club work. So what happened, there was a white lady in the church who I showed the result later. And the lady told me, I am going to help you. You're going to school in the United States of America. Because the daughter is a lawyer. And she started doing the connection and all that and all that. When my aunt heard of that, she came and she broke that conversation with the white lady between us, and she spoke so bad about me, about my family, about her own sister. She spoke all bad things. You know, she was envious of the sister.
Oh yeah.
Because she was divorced. Okay. Now she had all bitterness, you know. So later the white lady, you know, white people, they don't love lies.
Yeah.
When they know something is not going very well, they just pull off. So that one didn't work. So I continued staying there with my resort slips. Nothing is happening, nothing is going.
You didn't even pursue to be registered in campus?
I didn't. Now, I think right there, it's where now she went to witches. I try to recall how things started working immediately after the result came out. It's like she took the papers I had come with. I had come with my primary school paper for any mere job, and not certificate, the result slip.
The results.
Yes. Yeah. So I think because when I came to Nakuru, I gave those to her to keep for me. So she took those things to the witchcraft.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, I just felt that I didn't want anything to do with education. But I tell you, woman of God, I loved education.
Yes.
Me, actually, my teachers in high school, I think they wonder how comes I never pursued education. But after that, everything started happening to me. I didn't want education. I didn't want anybody to tell me about going back to school. I just hated school. So one day, I came from church on a Sunday evening, and my cousin, now the daughter, was home. I didn't know they were planning to chase me from the house, because now they had already done all those sorts of things, but I didn't know. And my cousin tells me, you're a very evil girl. I didn't know I brought you here to come and destroy my life. I asked, how? Why are you going around sleeping with my boyfriend? They started accusing me. They accused me of taking her boyfriend, the boyfriend that I don't know. This boyfriend only used to come to the house when everybody is there. But now the boyfriend noticed that I only stay at home. So the guy decided to get a job for me where he was teaching to be a cook.
Yeah.
You know, these day schools. He was teaching there. So just because now this man decided to get me a job, it happened that I have an affair with him. And I'm telling you, that evening, things happened. I was beaten up. I'm taking someone's fiancé, by my cousin. They took all my clothes, they put them in a bag, together with my aunt. They put them outside. We were living in a flat. They took paraffin. They burnt my clothes.
Wow, my viewer, it can't get worse than this. Household wickedness at play. But we thank God because after the break, we are going to hear what the Lord has continually done in her life. See you after the break. So welcome back, our viewers. So, Priscilla.
Yes.
They burn all your clothes.
They burnt my clothes. It was around almost to midnight because we struggled with them until that.
So this is at night?
Yes, at night. They burned on a Sunday evening.
You had come from church, of
Yes, of course. But now coming from church and reaching home around 7, it was illegal. I'm coming from prostitution. They burnt everything, my clothes.
So you actually being criminalized for being good.
Imagine. That's what I was saying. Good people. Good people go through issues. Oh. I said, my God, why me?
Yeah.
But I remember God telling me, if not you, who else?
Oh.
If not you, who else do you think has the capacity to go through this?
So I'm curious, where did you go at midnight?
That night, I didn't know anybody in Nakuru, so I slept in the neighbor's place, just the next door. They had to just give me a place to stay
because
that
they locked
night.
you out?
Yes, they locked me out. They burnt my clothes and they threw. Actually, they just threw the bag alone, but everything else they burnt. So I was only the clothes that were on me. I stayed in the house of the neighbor there. Then in the morning, I just decided to go to church. I went to church looking for who maybe I knew there, maybe can host me before I know what's happening. Because it's like now, the witchcraft was really now working in me.
Yeah.
My mentor, everything was just not working.
Yeah.
I was not even knowing what is happening.
Yeah.
I don't have a phone to call home. Those days, that was in 2005.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have a phone. I'm just from high school, so nothing. I'm just all alone in Nakuru. Nobody knows where I am. So I went to church and I couldn't get much help there because I was new also. So people could not let me in easily. So I remember I just walked. I don't know how I walked and reached to the showground. If you know Nakuru, from town to the showground is a walking distance.
Quite a distance.
Yes, and it's a distance. So I just found myself at showground. And Rev, I tell you the truth, I located a structure, a kibanda. You know the showground structures, the way they are? They don't have doors, no
nothing,
window.
It's just an empty
it's just
shell.
yes, but at least it's cemented. I went with my bag and they didn't burn my towel. So I went with that and I located a house for me until I don't know when. So I stayed there at the showground. I would sleep, wake up, go look for job. I tell you the truth, I looked for job even for house girl. I think with all my beauty and all this, nobody would have given me job as a house girl. I will take their husband. I don't know.
Were you showering? Were you?
I was, in showground, there is those taps. Just the normal taps. And of course, you would find some pails, buckets all over. I'll just shower myself anyhow. I tell you the truth, my mind was not right. Something was not right. But trust me, I slept on that structure for almost a year plus. I didn't know myself. My parents didn't know where I was. I understand my brother came looking for me. My aunt refused to tell him where I was. Nobody knew where I was. No one knew.
Even your auntie didn't know?
No, because they released me. They chased me out of the house, so they didn't know where I am also. And nobody.
They did not disclose what they did to you?
No. They never. Actually, I think I'm giving this testimony the first time. I think if my parents are watching this, they will be surprised what I went through.
They do not know.
No, I refuse to tell them because I know my father. So I said, oh God, God kept me in that.
So what were you eating?
I would go to clubs, to restaurants, and just, young girl in her early 20s, she's beautiful. People would just dash me food, but something that never happened. I was never raped. I was never sick. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I would come to that, structure at night, and it is raining. It is raining, so the water has flooded on the floor. I would first start removing the water, dry it. Maybe it's at night. I've been delayed wherever I was looking for a job. So I would come and start cleaning the room first so that it can dry up for me to lay my head. I would sleep with everything I have, everything, the shoes, everything. I would just sleep. My bag was my pillow.
Were there other people with you there?
Now, the soldiers in the showground, I really thank God for them, and I thank God for the manager then. She was a lady. They never followed me for some time. They used to see me enter the gate, but because Nakuru showground is really big,
yeah.
And it has some places like people even don't come there. So where my kibanda was, it's really interior. Nobody cares. It's like a bush, So they would just see me enter, but they thought I am one of the workers who lives in those nice houses inside there. So they never were really not sure where I live. But one day, they followed me. They followed me to know, where does this girl go? She usually come out in the morning and come late at night. Where does she go? They followed me and they got where I usually sleep. They got my towel and my bag. I'm telling you, that day, I was called now to the office and I was told to get out of that place. It's risky. They don't know I've lived there for how long. And now
They did not help you?
No, I tried to explain myself. I think witchcraft is real. Guy, as in
There was no mercy for you?
No. But at least for those months I had stayed there, nobody knew I was there, so I was not even paying rent or anything. So they chased me out. And there was a lady who was working in a restaurant inside the showground. And when I was coming out, I told her about my story. And she told me, no, you can come and stay with me and I can get you a job as a waiter in this restaurant. Then you'll stay with me for some time as God will help you. So that's how that lady now rescued me. I stayed with a Kalenjin lady. I will never forget her. She stayed with me in her house and I was working in that restaurant. So I used to eat in that restaurant, just go and sleep, and I was saving money. Now I was saving money and it hit me. Where am I? It's like I've been imprisoned in a...
You were not yourself.
Yes, but now it started coming back to me. You know, one thing I've come to realize, Rev, when someone is bewitching you, when you're far, the witchcraft is not as strong as when you're closer to them. So it's like the witchcraft was vanishing from me, small, but yes. So I started realizing myself. So I said,
that is after how long?
Now that was 2006.
Yeah.
2006. So I started saying, I have home. I need to go home. That time I understand my brothers had come to Nakuru many times looking for me, but they couldn't find me. I didn't have a phone or anything. So after I got my salary, I was putting it, now I'm not using my salary for anything. So I'm piling it. I started the journey to go home. I planned to go home now, to go and look for the stage and go back to Kirinyaga. Now, on my way to the stage, at the roundabout to Eldoret, I meet these people. See Witchcraft. There are these people who greet you and you
forget about who
yes, they stole from me everything. You know, they called me, oh, we know your problems. And I said, I think these people are prophets. Let them talk to me. Before I knew, they were con men. Those people, they blindfold you and they take everything. They took everything. They only left me with my ID. Actually, I remember one telling me, go buy a mirror, you will see your aunt. You know those, I don't know whether you've heard such stories,
Yeah.
people who does that, even here in Nairobi.
So they actually disclose to you your auntie is the one bewitching you.
Imagine. But now it's a lie. You know, they use lies because they
Yeah.
will use anybody
Yeah.
to lie to you. Now I don't have money. I went back to the showground, to my friend's place. I explained. I continue working again. Now,
She was so kind.
yes.
God bless
Later,
her.
I got somebody in the restaurant who was a good customer, who I explained myself to him, and he gave me money to go home. So when I went home, I had applied jobs. You know, I was just applying jobs anywhere with my resort slip, only my resort slip. I said, God, I need to go home to my father. Maybe I need his blessing. So I traveled home. I stayed like 2 months. My brother was called. There was a call, came now from Nakuru, from one of good hotels in Nakuru.
Now tell me, you go back home.
Yes.
What was the reaction of your parents?
You know, they never knew what happened to me. So
And that time you were put together.
yes.
Yeah.
So everything was just okay. And I didn't want to disclose what I went through because I know the heart of a parent would really feel.
Weren't they curious to know what happened? Where were you? Did they not want to discipline you? Because how could you just disappear?
I never disappeared.
Yeah.
To them, I was according to what my aunt said,
Yeah.
she said that I went to be employed as a house girl. But now she didn't have contact.
details.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to me, I just said, yeah, I was working as a house girl somewhere. Now I've come home, but I've applied jobs here and there. So I'm expecting a call from those people to call me back. Surprisingly, I got a call and I came back to Nakuru again after staying with my parents. My dad blessed me. And I came back to Nakuru. I went to work in that hotel and they gave me a house in the hotel. And with my resort slip, remember, I was made a supervisor.
Wow.
Now the favor of God started working small. I worked there for 1 year plus. Then I said I still wanted to pursue
Law.
computer packages.
You forgot about law.
That one I forgot even today. I forgot. Actually, I pursued now something different. So after 1 year, I told my manager to release me so that I can be able to go to school, and maybe later in future I can come back and work with them. So they released me. I had accumulated good amount for 1 year plus. So I looked for a single room outside now the hotel. I paid the room for 6 months, the single room. I bought the bed, the mattress, the basics. And I started life. Then I enrolled myself in a college for the packages. At least I said, I've paid the landlord for 6 months. So for the 6 months before I get a job, at least I have something to eat,
Yeah.
I have somewhere to sleep. I'm okay. I'm at least I'm okay for now. So there now, God revisited me.
Amen.
In that room. And I remember one day I just woke up and I got a good Samaritan who directed me to work with Lake Nakuru Hotel as a front office girl. When I was working there, it was a good job. But it was not giving me time with God to go to church. You know, hotel industry,
Yeah.
the way it can be tricky on Sundays and all that. So after working there for like 3 months, I came back home. That night I could not sleep. I told God, bless my hands. I'm tired of working in hotels. There's so much evil happening in the hotel. And me, I know I'm called. I don't know how, but just give me something to do with my hands, that nobody will employ me. I will employ myself so that I can have time for you. And I remember that day, God just gave me peace. It was on a Saturday. On Sunday morning, I woke up very early in the morning because I was used to church. But now for almost 1 year plus, I had not gone to church. So I woke up, I went out of the gate, and I saw a poster. There was a meeting in a church, the Deliverance Church by then. And I said, I'm following this poster. Wherever they will lead me to this church, where this church is, that's where I will settle. And that's how I joined the Deliverance Church by then in Nakuru. That was the year 2007. I joined. Now I went on a Sunday morning. When I entered this service like this, the pastor's wife, by then who was my spiritual mom, saw me, and she started smiling at me.
Wow.
She came smiling. Reverend Ruth, I honor her. She smiled at me. She kept smiling until the pastor, now the husband, asked her, you're smiling at her always. Do you know her? And she said, no, I don't know her. I just love her.
Wow.
I felt home, like I belong here. Telling you the truth, I started serving immediately. How did I start serving? I just felt power comes to my hands. I looked at the altar, and God told me, you can do better than what they have done on that altar. After service, I went, I asked her, can I help to decorate your altar? I did the first decoration. Everybody was amazed. I had never done it. But remember, I told God that Saturday night, bless my hands. I want to do something with my hands. That altar, I used to decorate it every Saturday for many years before we did the gypsum thing. And that altar marketed me in so many churches in this country. Wow. I served in that altar. I remember one day, one Sunday, my spiritual mother then, Reverend Ruth Kayo, came and told me, God has spoken me about you. And when I saw you the first day, God told me, do not disturb her. She has been through a lot. Wow. Just accept her. That's why she was smiling all along to me.
And on that note, our viewer, when God speaks, nobody can reject you. And I pray that even as you listen to this testimony, that every rejection will be cancelled and God will provide people that will accept you. Mm-hmm. See you after the break. So welcome back, our viewer. As I had intimated before, it's Priscilla Patrick, my guest.
Yes.
Wow, what an amazing God we serve.
I'm telling you.
So all protocol was not observed. Mm-hmm. It's like you had a free pass.
Oh, yes. I got parents.
Glory to God.
I usually tell people, Reverend Ayub Kayo and Ruth Kayo.
Wow.
They raised me for 12 years. They planted me. They watered me. Now people of Nairobi, they are just harvesting what they really did to me. Wow. They took me as their own daughter. Wow. My Reverend Ruth would even beat me literally, like, you have to stop this nonsense. You have to grow up. She taught me everything I know today. She taught me how to dress. I never used to do makeup. Remember, I was a tomboy, kind of, because of growing with boys. Yeah. She taught me, she bought me my first makeup. Oh, yes. I was like a real daughter to them. I used to serve in church, not because I'm employed there. I was not employed. I was just in a protocol person, helping her, assisting her as the woman of God, doing so much work in church. Actually, people thought I'm employed in church.
Wow.
But for all those years, I was not there as an employee. I had given myself to serve
It was
God.
an answer to prayer.
Yes, and I was feeling now I'm serving God. It was so fulfilling.
It was so fulfilling.
Very fulfilling. Like, I didn't even want to work anywhere else, like even to be employed. As long as I would go do my decoration here and there, get money for that month, the rest
You
of
were
the
still living in your own single room?
Yes, I got my single room. But now later, with as money started coming in, I moved to 1 bedroom.
Amen.
Yes. So
And did you finish the computer packages?
Yes, that one I finished. I finished.
Oh.
Now it was really helping me also to do other things, because now I'm a bit retreat on that. So I served God. I served God. Today my spiritual father then, who raised me in ministry, Reverend Kayo, would tell you, Priscilla, actually he says, Priscilla is like 10 sons.
Wow.
To me. I served them in the church fully. I would be the first one to reach church together with the assistant pastor, and I will be the last one to close the office door.
My curiosity is, now your auntie, you're still in the same place. Did you ever meet?
No. The next time I ever met my auntie, she was dying. And I remember when I was coming from their house, I told them, this is what you have done. These tears are coming out like this. I am innocent. One day you will look for me. I was a very young girl.
Oh, yeah.
And sure enough, they looked for me.
What happened?
My aunt was dying. The daughter abandoned her. Everybody abandoned her. She was all alone in the street. The same way, the same thing I went through. Now she was also in the streets of Nakuru, nowhere to sleep. Pale, very pale, like, because she has nothing even to eat. I took my aunt to my 1-bedroom house. Actually, I had to rent out a 2-bedroom to accommodate her. My aunt, speaking of love, knowing what she has done, all this to me, I took her, I stayed with her. And I remember one day she told me, you know, nobody can kill you. Every time I used to see a lot of angels around you. And I told her, oh yes.
How? How did she see?
She could see it. God would open her eyes and see, I'm walking with angels, according to her. I don't know how. But
did she ever confess to you about her witchcraft?
That later. She confessed that later. When now when I spoke this to my pastor then, and we prayed. I went into fasting, and God started showing me what happened in my life, how I was bewitched, how my papers were taken to witchcraft and all that. It was like in a trance, and I was seeing everything the way it was happening. Yeah. So what happened that evening, I was in prayer center. The whole night I prayed. So the following morning, my aunt calls me. Where are you? I said, I'm somewhere in Nairobi. I didn't tell her I'm in the prayer center because I didn't want to disclose where I am. She told me, now I want you to come now. I have my son, my last born son, the beloved son. That morning had beaten her.
Still in your house?
No. Not in my house. Not in my house. I don't know, in other center.
Yeah,
yes,
somewhere.
Yes. The boy just came and he was like crazy. He started beating the mother in a Broadway day.
Broad daylight.
Yes. He beat the mother. The mother called me. Do you know the prayer I was praying that night? Anyone who has bewitched me, if it's my aunt, Lord, let the angel of God frog them. Trust me, it was done physically.
Let the angel of the Lord flog them.
Oh, yes.
That is the
So, these people, when they do witchcraft, they know. They They can feel
That's
something
quite
is
a
happening
radical
in the
prayer.
spiritual.
Yes, they can do.
Yes. So I think she knew this flogging is coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
So she wanted to know, where am I? So when I came back home. That's the time she told me. She confessed.
After the flogging?
Yes.
What did she say?
Now I asked her, Auntie, I want you to be very, very open with me, because you know I am into prophetic and I know things that you have done, but I've deliberately brought you close because I want God to deliver you and to help you. Otherwise, God will kill you. I saw it. And my aunt just had to confess, and she said, oh, I had to do that. I was
What
jealous.
did she do?
She took my photos, my clothes to witches when I came to Nakuru. And she said she did all that because she was envious of my mother. Because my mother has kept her marriage. She's doing well. Her children are doing well in school. All that, you know, it was out of bitterness, envy. Her life is shattered. Her children are out of school. Nobody wanted to associate with her from my grandmother's side. So all that made her now to get on me. Wow. She confessed.
Wow.
And
what did you, so how were you able to forgive her?
I think God had really filled me so much with so much love that love covers a multitude of sins. I just loved her.
Did she get born again?
Yes, she started now coming back to her normal life. But it took, a lot of time, because you know, once you sell your soul to the devil, it only takes the mercies of God to come back to your lane. So after that, she became now. I remember she stayed in my house, and now she started becoming normal again. Her body started coming back. Then later, the daughter came back. We could pray with her. I could direct her out. We pray. She's a godly woman. No?
Wow.
So the daughter later came and picked her, rented her a house outside my house, another estate now. And she settled the family there. Me, I continued living there, but later, since 2-bedroom is too big for me, I had to move to a 1-bedroom to stay again alone, serving God in my church, serving my spiritual parents then, until one day, when now we had solved issues with my aunt. I remember I just went to church around 5:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And I told God, I have served you diligently. It is time for you to bless me now. I want to enter into my rest. I prayed. By the time other leaders were getting into church around 6:30, I had prayed like 1 hour. That day, I was feeling something, joy in my heart, but I couldn't say exactly what it is. So after church, in that afternoon, I went direct home. I didn't want issues with people. I didn't want anything. I just excused myself early. I went home just to rest and listen to God after prayer. Guess what? Someone called me all the way from Bahamas. Someone I don't know. I have never met a woman of God. She tried calling, and I said, these are people who disturb people on Messenger. I'm not going to pick. But the third call, the Holy Spirit told me, pick that call. I picked it, and she introduced herself. This is a woman, I sent a friend request like 5 years ago. I used to admire her. I used to think she's Juanita Bynum because they almost look alike.
Yeah.
But now, I didn't even follow her much. So she told me, are you Priscilla? I said, yes, ma. Okay, are you in a position we can talk? At 2, that is very early in the US.
Yeah.
I say, yes, talk to me. I say, the Holy Ghost woke me up this morning and told me to go to your Facebook account. And the minute I saw your photo, I had posted a photo of worship. She told me, I want you to work with this girl in Africa. So she told me, I'm coming for a worship tour in Africa. I've never been there. I've never been to Kenya, to Nigeria, and to South Africa. I've never been there. And the Lord told me to work with you.
Wow.
I told her, wow. I almost said no, but the Holy Spirit told me, remember you prayed this morning.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for you to go to the next level. I said, yes, it is possible. Later I asked myself, why am I saying even it is possible? I don't know this person.
Yeah.
I don't have a church of my own. How will I even help her? I've never been to Nigeria. I've never been to these places. How will I help her? Because she wanted me to be her coordinator with the events, to do everything about the events. She was coming to do a worship tour here.
So did it happen?
She started, the following day, she started sending me funds. She told me, get a passport, because I want to send you to South Africa to this and this place. Go and lay everything in order. When I come to Kenya, we will go to South Africa, then to Nigeria or Ghana, one of the nations. And it happened.
Amen.
Everything happened. She came to Kenya. I didn't know her. I met her the first very day. She trusted me by the leading of the Holy Ghost. From there, my life started changing.
Is that where you met your husband?
No.
Oh my goodness.
No.
And my director is telling me we are out of time, Priscilla. So in brief, how did you meet your husband?
My husband, I met her when I was going to South Africa.
Wow.
When I was going to South Africa, I was coming to Nairobi, and my flight had an issue. So we were just friends with my husband then. But now I told him, I'm having an issue with my flight. Can you help me? I just think there is some powers fighting this. So please, can I get somewhere I can pray in? I don't know Nairobi. So how can I get through this? And my husband told me, you can come to our church. My pastor is in the house. I told him, I'm not even going to pray. If there is a man of God in that house, only what I need is him to speak a word, and my doors will open. And that's exactly what happened. So from there, we just became friends with my husband. You know, someone you meet, he's so kind to you. He took me to the airport the following day. I went to South Africa. Everything just happened. The woman of God came. I used my pastor now, my father in the Lord now, Apostle Caris and Pastor Jane, to help me handle the events. They were so of much help. The events were so successful, both in South Africa, in Kenya, everywhere.
Amen.
And God opened doors for me internationally.
Wow, wow, wow. Our viewer, it can't get better. When you walk with God, no matter what category or maybe what level of temptation that comes your way, you always come out a winner. Priscilla, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
I'm glad.
It's a story of hope, a story of God's leading, a story of the power of prayer, and of course, a great foundation. Thank you for sharing it with us. And from the Gorgeous Women Show, time is like flies so fast. We wish we'd have more time. But for now, it's goodbye and God bless you.